everyone, welcome back to Opal and Mint. I am Ashley. I've been wanting to film this video for about a week now, but I lost my voice and it's still not all the way back, but I want to get this video up. So please excuse the lack of voice in this video. But I actually won't be talking a whole lot in this video because most of it's gonna be just showing you the process of a painting. So today's video, I'm gonna be showing you my entire process of how I do a commissioned piece of art. So basically I'm gonna talk about the process and then you're gonna get to see the process mostly from start to finish. I didn't film absolutely everything because it was many hours of work. So I filmed little pieces of each step if I didn't miss anything. Anyways, so let's get into this is the piece of art that we were talking about. I had a friend who wanted me to paint a princess castle for her daughter's bedroom, and so this is the process. One thing I want to note before we get started, everybody's process is going to be different, but I want you to know that when it comes to painting like an important piece, I don't just dive in and start painting that piece. I go through planning processes and I go through trial runs, and for this particular piece, I actually went through several different versions of the flowers that go underneath the castle. So painting the piece isn't just sit down and paint the piece. There are several steps, and step one is planning. So in the planning phase, I do a lot of Pinterest looking, get some inspiration, get a kind of an idea of what I'm going to do. She actually sent me an inspiration photo. She's like, I want something like this. And so the first step that I did was I just painted a very quick, rough version of the inspiration photo. So let me show you that I painted. I think it's in this sketchbook here. Just used my 5 Below watercolor paper and just quickly, yeah, all my flower runs are in here, so I'll show you those as well. Oh wow, yeah, you can't see that. Let me make this darker. So here was just a quick trial run, kind of what the inspiration was for this painting, and it's a little bit more loose and rough than what the final painting was, but this is the first step that I did in painting this Come on, camera, focus. This was the first step that I did in painting this piece. Was I just did a quick rough trial run. Okay, so that was step one. And then once I kind of had an idea of how this was gonna go based off of my trial run on very cheap paper, I started sketching. So I got a giant Arches watercolor paper, one of the big ones you can get at Hobby Lobby, or I got mine at Jerry's Artorama in Dallas, just a giant piece of Arches watercolor paper. The final painting was a 12 by 17, and I cut out a piece larger than that, so I had room to work with. And anyways, so I cut out a piece of that paper that was a little bit larger than the final painting was going to be. And then I started sketching. So I just pulled up a picture of the Disney princess, whatever, Cinderella, I think it is, castle. So the sketching process I actually did not get footage of, but this took me a few hours. I remember I sat on the couch and I did the sketch in one afternoon, and it was a little bit tedious of a process because there was a lot to this castle, but I went off of an actual photograph of the Disney castle in Florida or wherever it is. Haven't actually been there. Anyways, and so the sketch was the base of the painting. So I sketched it out in pencil, and from there on I have the process filmed. After the sketching process, I sit down. So these first clips in the living room are in my living room because my son wanted me in there. So the lighting is not the greatest, but you still can see. So the first steps, picking a color palette. So I don't just go in and start painting and hoping the colors will go and look good. I went through all of my watercolors, and I mean all of my watercolors. I had them spread out on the table, and I was swatching all the pinks and all the blues and the grays to see which colors I wanted for the castle, the main castle colors. So this process took a little while, but I wanted the have the colors picked out, and if I needed to mix a color, I wanted to mix plenty of that color. So I have my giant ceramic palette next to me. It's in some of the shots, you can't see it in all of it, but I got plenty of the pink shade. I don't remember if I mixed the pink. I think I did. I think I mixed the pink between two pinks that I had. So I mixed quite a bit of paint and put it on the palette so it would hopefully cover the entire painting, and I had that paint ready to go before I started painting. So I know that I used the blue from the Christy Rice palette. The gray was, I can't remember which shade the gray was, and then the pink was a mix of two different colors, but those are the main colors in the palette. And then the gold, I used just a yellow that I was going to later cover with a gold paint. And I don't actually have footage of me painting the gold on from my camera. I did film some on my phone. I might see if I can insert some of that in there. I think it's vertical footage, but I'll look and see if I can throw some of that in there, because I know I did some like Instagram reels painting the gold. That gold was gorgeous. Anyways, so the next step after I pick the colors is to start putting color on that castle. And I just started on the left and moved to the right. My thought process behind that is just so my hand doesn't drag over wet paint, because I'm right-handed. So I started on the left and moved to the right. And I just could not wait to start getting the pink on there, because the far left was gray, and then, you know, the blue, but then I was so excited to get the pink on there. So yeah, so here's the process of getting color on the castle. Okay, once the castle was done, I set it aside, and again, this is over several days of work. This was not just sitting down for 1 or 2 days. This was several different times of me sitting down and painting. The flower work took me a few days to get to what I wanted. So I went through several different versions of flowers. So before I started painting, so the castle took me so long to do the sketching, the painting, everything, that I was so nervous to put the flowers on. I'm like, I can totally ruin this and have to start all over. So I made sure I was ready and prepared. So let me see where the first versions of my flowers are here. So the first version of flowers is this right here, and I know it's a little bit washed out, but I loved the way these looked. But when I put it up against the painting, these were way too vibrant. Let me see if I can turn this down where I do look a little weird. Anyways, they were way too vibrant and didn't go with the castle. And so how I liked them, but they just weren't right. They just weren't quite right. So I started playing around with different ones. So I did this next, and I also loved this, but it still just didn't quite look right with the castle. And so I started playing with a softer color. I started playing with a softer color palette, and these are obviously not very good flowers. They're just blobs of color mostly to put up against the castle. And I still wasn't getting quite what I wanted. The flowers were just not working. Next, you actually see, I know I showed this in the footage, but I put a box here where the castle is, and I was trying to paint kind of, you know, under and up and around, and I still just wasn't getting the right colors. And again, these flowers are just quickly thrown on there, but I did not get the final version of this on film, but so this is not the final version. This was on film, and I did this, and it still just wasn't quite right. The blues were too purple, and the purple just didn't go with the castle, and so I finally took a color palette of pinks. I used the exact blue that I used in the castle. I don't know why I wasn't doing that in the first place. And this was the final version. And I did some gold accents. I did a couple of gold flowers to tie in the gold from the castle. And this was my final trial run before I actually painted it on the castle. It was time to put them on the castle. And that was such a nerve-wracking step, that first flower. And so like you see me in the footage like trying to picture where all the flowers are gonna go. But here's the process of me actually painting the flowers underneath the castle. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed watching that process. The castle is now painted, it's finished, and the reason it's been finished for quite a while, I had to wait for the frame to come in, and then I had to wait till my client, my friend Crystal, actually got the painting, and she was over this past weekend and I revealed it to her. I have footage of that I want to show you. I've been waiting to show y'all this castle, but I couldn't because I wanted her to see it first. So here is footage of Crystal seeing her painting for the first time. All right, so I'm about to show Crystal her painting. Are you ready? Are you excited?
I am. I really am.
She's been waiting so long for this.
Oh, way too long.
Hey Joyce, I want you to come hold it right here, and then you're gonna turn it on 3 and then hand it to her. Why are you frowning?
Because I'm gonna cry.
Why are you frowning though?
No, because I'm gonna cry. I'm trying not to cry.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
That is so beautiful. Thank you. Olivia, this is for you, baby. I love it.
Isn't it pretty?
I love it. Look at that, it's like pink.
It's like
It's beautiful. It's like real gold. That's so beautiful. It's like real gold. Yes. Ashley, seriously, like you need to get published.
I love it. So I've also scanned that in, and I printed one out to put on my wall too, because like I love it so much.
Obsessed.
Like, and the flowers, I was so nervous to put those flowers on there.
Because you did the castle and you did
yes, and I was like, I want to show you all of the trial runs of the flowers I did beforehand.
Yes.
So you can see the process.
I saw your story.
I show you how many I did though. Like,
okay, 8 million.
Till I got it right, and then I put a little bit of gold accents in the flowers too, to like tie it together.
Like, look at this. Gorgeous. Like, I feel like it needs like this light right here. Now you can really see it. Like when you tilt it back and forth. Seriously, it's perfect.
It's so beautiful.
It is perfect. Like, you have no idea. Like, I'm gonna put this right over her dresser. Like, it's perfect. It is literally perfect. Like, that gold paint is perfect.
I got a special paint for it. Like, it was just so pretty.
And like the detailing on that glass, like right where that like steeple is, like right there in the front.
Yeah, that shine on it's so pretty. Alright, so that is the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm very curious if you are an artist as well. Let me know what your process is in the comments below, if you just dive in and start painting, or if you have any prep work beforehand. But that is just my personal process of this particular project. Every project will be different, but I hope that you did enjoy this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already and you want to see our future videos, hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Okay,
it matches your shirt.
It's a whole vibe.
Oh my gosh.
Cinderella vibes.
It's Cinderella.
I love it.
Okay, but you need to get one that's like this, like in the light, so that you can like capture. Stunning. Yeah, you have to sign it. Like,
okay.
right there.
I'll sign it and then we'll
perfect
put it back
spot.
in the frame.
Yeah.